streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to fiber fast internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus. Find out how you and your family can save up to 40% on the meat, produce, and grocery items you use every day by clicking the Clinton Save-A-Lot icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Jay Peterson here from Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton, Farmer City, and Marilla. Find out how Pekin Insurance can give you peace of mind by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
News time, 8 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Wednesday. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded 8 o'clock newscast. It's been 3 years since a DeWitt County nonprofit has been trying to come into compliance with the Illinois Fire Marshal's Office, and that process takes a big step forward, most likely starting next week. On the WHOW Morning Show Tuesday, Executive Director of Encore Developmental Services, Stephanie Kuntz, told Regional Radio they are embarking on a project starting next week that is going to be a big piece of their ongoing efforts to come into compliance with the state of Illinois.
The latest is we start construction on phase one. We are phasing out all of the what's needed to be done due to cost and due to different things. Phase one is the back of the warehouse. So moving all of the mechanical stuff behind a fire rated wall and then putting in the additional fire exits. There were several additional fire exits, along the side of the warehouse.
Okay.
So that is the next phase that we will be working on. And that's starting 2 weeks from yesterday. Found a construction company that's working with us. They've been terrific so far. We are thrilled. And they were here yesterday looking again at the building and just kind of putting in some of the final thoughts on how we're going to be adjusting things so that we maybe hopefully can have the warehouse open to customers some, but then how do we move things around to make room for scaffolding and lifts and things to get that wall built, because that wall will go all the way to the very, very top of the metal roof to the floor.
It was 3 years ago. Encore had an inspection with the state of Illinois Fire Marshal's Office, and with the new inspector, Kuntz indicates many issues came up and the agency was left to scramble to make the necessary improvements to its facility.
Well, 3 years ago, the fire inspector came in for our annual inspection, and it was a new fire inspector, and they found all the things wrong, and they reclassified our building into 3 different classifications, brought back a whole bunch. So we had to go to an architect for their directions to redesign basically the warehouse. So that 20,000 square foot warehouse needed to be divided up into sections so that we would have spaces that were safe, like for the landscaping equipment, because for our landscape contract with the city of Clinton and some other places like the hospital where we do the flowers, we have all that equipment. We have in the warehouse, there's a baler left over from recycling days that we still use for the cardboard that comes in with the donations, and also for the clothing and stuff like that come in to run the thrift store. So all that has to be in one area, so at the back of the warehouse. And then also we have to put another divider in at the front of basically where that big baler is, if you've ever been in the warehouse, across there for another division.
Kuntz has been appreciative of the way the community has stepped up to support them. That support has been through various means like financial donations, positive feedback online, and just coming in and shopping at the thrift store.
Yeah, we have had a great response from the community. We've had, some of you guys may remember, we did Christmas in July, and we've done a lot of other kind of just grassroots within the thrift store fundraisers that have been successful. We've had anonymous donations of, thousands of dollars, which have been really terrific. My grant writing here recently has been pretty successful. So we've had some good money coming in through that. All of our customers are just people who come in and just encouraging to us. Our reviews that we get on our Yelp and Google and all that stuff are very positive about the thrift store. And yes, it's a place where you come and you have to be able to really like thrifting and enjoy using the facility that we have to dig through things and the way looking through things.
Because of the growth of Encore's programs and services, Kuntz points out they have some big visions for their facility once the fire marshal's items are addressed.
The eventual end of this project will be to have better spaces and larger spaces for the people that we serve.
Yeah, definitely.
Looking at funding and how much we have, in our capital funds that Encore has and how much we will need to raise, it would be the front wall. So this is for the back wall of the warehouse where all the mechanicals and maintenance will be. And then there'll be a front wall that'll go across the front to divide what they determine that middle area of the warehouse as a work area and the business through the thrift store and the services part where we have our classrooms and such. So there'll be a wall through there, a ceiling, hopefully across that open space, and then eventually HVAC systems and be able to turn that part of that space into active classroom and more sorting area. And then also to do some construction in the store area with additional restrooms, which are desperately needed. With our program growing, our restrooms are full all the time. So, and also for customers, that's a big deal. Customers have to come out and around the building and come into the service side in order to use it. And that can be a hassle, especially now since we're growing. It's a busy restroom. Even the one that we used to kind of reserve for customers is no longer just reserved for customers. Additional dressing room and mechanicals.
Encore has been diligently fundraising and pursuing grants for the last several years. Kuntz is excited to have this latest project get going and to start to see significant work being done. It hasn't been the most intense heat of the season, but it has been warm the last few days. On the WHOW Morning Show Tuesday, Mike Albano at the National Weather Service in Lincoln told Regional Radio the next few days should be rather pleasant before a return to the hot and humid weather this weekend.
Yeah, so specifically Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think we're going to be right around seasonal normals. For us, that's about highs around 85, lows right around 63. I think we're going to be pretty near those marks as we get Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday and Sunday, that warm front starts to lift back up, and we will find ourselves back up into the upper 80s, if not close to 90. Heat index values in the low triple digits, so it's going to be hot and humid again this weekend. But I think the rain chances will be more isolated than numerous. Like I said, we may be staring down a bit of a late season drought here as we kind of close August.
Albano indicates we are approaching the time of the year when tropical storm season can alter the outlooks for the late summer and fall months. 7:15 on this Wednesday. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. We continue our look at high school football programs who are back to practice this week. We check in with the Bloomington High School football program and Coach Niall Mulcahy. That story next in sports.
School is right around the corner. Let us help you get to class in style at Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City. This is Scott Baum. We have a great savings on the entire Chevy lineup, from the economic Trailblazer and Trax to the upscale Silverado or Tahoe. We have you covered. Our used and certified pre-owned cars are getting straight A's also. This school year, see all our inventory online. Chevrolet, together let's drive. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
Unloading and seeing heavy dust clouds? Chances are grain-damaging insects have eaten away at your grain and your bottom line. Protect your post-harvest grain from these profit-robbing insects with Gravista insecticide or Diacon IGR grain protectants. Prevent bug damage in your bin. Contact us at bugfreegrains.com before your profits go up in a cloud of dust.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Netflix buffering, YouTube spinning, devices not connecting, Zoom calls dropping. It's frustrating. Let's end your frustration by signing up for fiber internet in Clinton. Click the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. With the 2025 high school football practice season underway, Bloomington High will be leaning on experience to get the Purple Raiders back to the postseason. Coach Niall Mulcahy is very excited about his returning receivers from last year's 8-3 team, but he also has some anchors elsewhere on the field that should play a large role for Bloomington this season.
Like you mentioned, there are several kind of key members of the team last year that we are really excited about having back and seeing them continue to do big things for us. Some areas that I'd like to highlight is our receiver room. You know, we're returning Carter Tyndall, Jordan Norton, Jamari Sutton, Keontae Hamilton. Like our whole receiver room from our team last year are all back, and expecting big things from that group in terms of leadership and performance on the field. We've got Dave Williams, our all-conference right tackle, who will be back. You know, Big Dave was a big reason why we were able to have the success running the ball that we did last year. So excited to have him back and kind of leading the charge on that offensive line. Some guys who we're really excited to see, you know, who might be kind of considered new faces this year. Kevion Chestnut, who ran the ball a little bit for us last year, but was primarily a defensive player for us last year, has looked great in the backfield, along with junior Brian Quintella. Brian took big strides in the offseason in terms of developing his strength, explosiveness, and speed, and been really impressed with what we've seen from him so far this summer, and excited to see what he can do this fall. On the offensive line, we've got some guys who are going to step up and fill spots. Junior left tackle Jalen Robb. Again, talk about another guy who really kind of transformed his body in the offseason. Will be a beast for us, along with center Izzy Lukoji, who'll be a senior, and then Chris Perkins, who played guard for us. Another big body, got some size up front this year. They're really excited about. And then the last guy that I want to highlight offensively, Cooper Childers. He'll be joining that kind of strong receiver room. He's a rising junior that we're really excited about.
While there are some places on the field with plenty of experience, there are some position battles that will play out leading up to the opener on August the 29th. Coach Mulcahy says it is an opportunity for kids to show the work they've put in.
Yeah, so, you know, I would say these position battles, and that's what I kind of tell the guys as well, that's what they are doing right now. Started in the summer. We were kind of working through practice and then using these first 2 weeks when kind of the pressure amps up a little bit. You know, I was talking with the guys yesterday. It's 17 days until, as of today, 17 days until our first game. Using these first 2 weeks to kind of settle those position battles, giving guys opportunities to show the work that they've put in, you know, since we started in the weight room this past December. And we'll have that all kind of settled as we head into the third week, which will be game week going into Danville.
Coach Mulcahy enjoys this group of players and looks forward to the things they'll be able to do this season.
I love the guys. It's been a blast working with this group of young men, you know, having had the opportunity to see, you know, our current seniors as they've developed and grown during their time in the program. That's probably my favorite thing about coaching is, you know, meeting them as little 13 or 14-year-olds, and now 16, 17, 18-year-olds have busted their butt in the weight room, have changed their bodies, and, you know, having the opportunity to go display that on Friday night in front of the community. I think offensively, that with that strong receiver room, we'll be able to get the ball out to those receivers quickly and, you know, taking some deeper pass shots. I think we've got some dangerous receivers on the perimeter. Coach Mulcahy team, one of my core tenets of the football side of things is we're going to run the football, and we've got the guys up front and the backs in the backfield to be able to pound the rock pretty well as well. defensively, what we've preached all summer is this idea of swarm. So getting 11 hats to the ball, flying around. And so it would be a defense that is pursuing the ball nonstop every play.
It is the goal of Bloomington High to get back to the postseason. Coach Mulcahy says his team put in the work in the offseason to do that. The Purple Raiders open the regular season hosting at Danville. In a game heard on WHOW, Yohendry Gomez struck out 7 in 5 innings. Edgar Caro had 3 hits and 3 RBIs as the White Sox scored 5 runs in the 5th in a 9-6 win over the Tigers on Tuesday night.
2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's a good start. A stretch in the 1-2. And a swing and a miss, strike 3 on a cutter. 1-2, swung on and missed, strike 3. Swing and a miss, that's strike 3. 4 strikeouts for Gomez, a 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3 on a curve. That's out number 1. A 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. New career high in strikeouts for Gomez.
Detroit starter Jack Flaherty and Gomez traded scoreless innings before Wenzel Perez broke through for the Tigers in the 4th with a sac fly that scored Kerry Carpenter. Chicago tied the game in the 5th on an infield single from Curtis Mead that scored Kyle Teal.
High set, here's a 2-2. A swing and a fly ball. This could land, and it will. A base hit and left. Teal will score. It's a bloop RBI single for Curtis Mead.
Colson Montgomery had a 2-run single in the inning.
A 1-2. There's a swing and a base hit out into right center. Caro scores. Mead is in. Throw goes towards second base. It's 3-1.
Luis Robert Jr. then followed with a run-scoring hit.
There's a swing and a pop fly, shallow right, and a base hit. Run scores. Tachman's in. Roberts got his first career hit against Flaherty, and everything they're putting in place seems to be falling.
The White Sox loaded the bases in the 6th, then Cody Hewer walked Andrew Benintendi to make it 6-1.
Runners go. The pitch is outside. He walked him. Benintendi gets an RBI. Mead will trot home, and it's 6-1.
The White Sox loaded the bases again when Caro put the Tigers away with a solo home run in the 7th.
And the 2-1 is hit in the air deep to right. Edgar Caro goes deep into the bullpen, and it's 7-3.
Let's just say he knew he got that one.
Caro also had a 2-run single in the 8th.
A 1-2. There's a swing and a base hit out into right center. Caro scores. Mead is in. Throw goes towards second base. It's 3-1.
Shane Smith will take the ball for the White Sox this afternoon. The Tigers have yet to announce a starter for today. You can hear the Sox back on WHOW on Friday night. Ernie Clement and Dalton Varsho homered as the Toronto Blue Jays became the first American League baseball team to reach 70 wins in a 5-1 win over the Cubs on Tuesday night. The Cubs have dropped 5 of 7 in those 5 losses. They've scored a total of 6 runs. Toronto right-hander Jose Barrios allowed 2 hits. Both were singles in 5 1/3 scoreless innings. He walked 4 and struck out 3. Starting for the first time since September 2024 in Philly, Cubs right-hander Javier Assad allowed 4 runs and 8 hits in 4 innings. The Cubs had reinstated Assad off the 60-day injured list. Michael Busch had an RBI single off Tommy Nance in the 7th, and Brendan Little came on and struck out Pete Crow Armstrong, stranding runners at 2nd and 3rd. It'll be Kevin Gossman for the Blue Jays opposite Cade Horton for the Cubs tonight. Kyle Freeland gave up 5 hits in a season high, 7 1/3 innings. Hunter Goodman hit a home run, and the Rockies beat the Cardinals 3-0 Tuesday night to snap an 8-game losing streak. Freeland walked 2 and struck out 2 in his longest outing since a career-best 8 1/3 in July 2017 against the White Sox. Victor Vodnik went the final inning in 2/3 to earn his 3rd save and clinch the Rockies' 2nd shutout of the season. They also blanked the Cardinals in Denver in July. after Cardinals starter Matthew Liberatore allowed 3 runs on 4 hits. He struck out. He allowed a walk in 4+ innings and struck out the side in the first. He retired the first 9 batters he faced. Cardinals right-hander William Contreras left the game in the fifth inning after he was hit with a right foot contusion, being hit by a pitch in the 4th. Tonight's game, the Tuesday night game rather, started 41 minutes late because of rain. Rockies left-hander Austin Gomber faces Cardinals right-hander Michael McGreevy today. Get sports anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Here's Clinton Save-A-Lot owner Dave Jackson on why you should shop his store.
Well-thought decisions on our pricing and try to make sure that we have the right retail on the right items so that you don't have to go anywhere else. It's just such a fallacy that people think they have to drive out of town and put up with what they have to put up with in these stores, park 2,000 feet from the door and just go through that whole process.
Dave and his staff works hard to save you up to 40% on your food bill every day at your Clinton Save-A-Lot. And as Dave always says,
hope to see you soon.
See how your Illinois soybean checkoff investment is driving on-farm progress at the 2025 Farm Progress Show. Explore ISA's cover crop and agronomy plots and join the agronomy team as they showcase practical ISA checkoff funded resources for Illinois soybean farmers. Visit with experts and grab a coffee each morning at 8 a.m. during Brewing with the Bean Team to learn how ISA partners with researchers and NRCS to support conservation and profitability. Just stop by the plot on the south end of West Progress Avenue and experience how your Illinois soybean checkoff works for your farm.
Set your sights on a strong school year. SIU Center for Family Medicine in Lincoln is here to help your child start smart with a back-to-school or sports physical. Healthy kids learn better and play harder. Appointments are quick and convenient, so you can check it off your list with confidence. Call 217-545-8000 to schedule. That's 217-545-8000 or click their icon on DeWittDailyNews.com. SIU Center for Family Medicine in Lincoln, moving health forward for you.
Experience the power of better connection with Connexus Fiber Internet. Connexus delivers ultra-fast, reliable speeds to keep you connected at the speed of life. Whether you're working from home, streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to fiber fast internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. The federal crackdown on crime in Washington, D.C. is bearing fruit. The White House says there were dozens of arrests on day one of the operation, everything from homicide to drugs to DWI. European leaders holding a series of virtual meetings today, including one with President Trump, ahead of Mr. Trump's Friday in-person meeting with Russia's Vladimir Putin. Ukrainian President Zelensky is in Berlin to take part in the virtual talks with Mr. Trump and the European leaders. Texas House